Imagine this. You wake up one day, and the person you once thought would always be by your side no longer values you. They drift away, their words grow cold, and their actions speak louder than their silence. You feel the sting of rejection, the weight of abandonment, and the ache of being unseen. What do? Do you crumble under the weight of their indifference, or do you rise above it? What if I told you there's a simple trick, rooted in ancient wisdom, that can transform this pain into power? A trick that doesn't just heal you, but elevates you to a place where their indifference no longer holds sway over your peace. This is Stoicism, and this is how you reclaim your worth. Stoicism, a philosophy born in the bustling markets of ancient Athens and refined in the marble halls of Rome, is not just a set of ideas. It's a way of life. It's a practice that teaches us how to navigate the storms of life with grace, how to find strength in adversity, and how to cultivate an unshakable sense of self-worth. When someone no longer values you, Stoicism doesn't offer empty platitudes or quick fixes. Instead, it offers something far more profound, a path to inner freedom. This path is not easy. It requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to confront the darkest corners of your mind. But for those who dare to walk it, the rewards are immeasurable. You will learn to see rejection not as a reflection of your worth, but as an opportunity for growth. You will discover that your value is not tied to the opinions of others, but is rooted in something far deeper, your own sense of purpose and virtue. And you will realize that the greatest power you possess is the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges. In this video, we will explore 7 Stoic principles that can help you navigate the pain of being devalued. These principles are not just theoretical, they are practical tools that you can use to transform your life. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the wisdom of the Stoics, but also feel a deep inner lust to strive after self-control, fortitude, and inner peace. Number 1. The illusion of external validation. Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not determined by how others see us, but by how we see ourselves. When someone stops valuing you, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking their approval, begging for their attention, or worse, questioning your own value. But the Stoics remind us that external validation is an illusion. It's a fleeting, fragile thing that can vanish in an instant. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, the opinions of others are beyond our control. What we can control, however, is how we respond. Let's break this down further. When someone devalues you, it's natural to feel hurt, but Stoicism asks us to pause and reflect. Why does their opinion matter so much? Is it because we've tied our self-worth to their approval? If so, we've given them power over us, power they don't deserve. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from detaching ourselves from the opinions of others. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or cold. It means we recognize that our value is intrinsic. It cannot be diminished by someone else's inability to recognize it. Consider this. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Similarly, if someone fails to see your worth, does it mean you're worthless? Of course not. Your worth exists independently of their perception. The tree's existence isn't defined by the ears that hear it, and your value isn't defined by the eyes that see it. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the life of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Despite his immense power and influence, he often reminded himself that the opinions of others were irrelevant. In his private journal, Meditations, he wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This is a profound truth. We often prioritize the opinions of others over our own self-respect, and in doing so, we give away our power. So when someone no longer values you, the first step is to detach from their judgment. Recognize that their inability to see your worth is a reflection of their own limitations, not yours. This isn't about arrogance or indifference. It's about understanding that your value is intrinsic. It cannot be diminished by someone else's inability to recognize it. But how do we practice this detachment? The Stoics offer a simple yet powerful exercise, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Imagine the worst-case scenario: someone you care about no longer values you. Visualize it in detail. Feel the pain, the rejection, the sadness. Then ask yourself, what is within my control here? You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to rise above the chaos and act with dignity. This exercise isn't meant to make you pessimistic. It's meant to prepare you. By confronting the worst-case scenario in your mind, you strip it of its power over you. You realize that even in the face of rejection, you can choose to remain steadfast in your self-worth. Number 2, the power of self-control. The Stoics were masters of self-control. They believed that the greatest battles we fight are not with others, but with ourselves. When someone no longer values you, it's natural to feel anger, sadness, or even resentment. These emotions are valid, but Stoicism teaches us that they are not the truth. They are merely reactions to external events. The key is not to suppress these emotions, but to master them. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of Stoic self-control. Instead of allowing destructive emotions to consume you, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what is within my control here? You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to rise above the chaos and act with dignity. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and the thunder is deafening. You can't stop the storm, but you can choose how to respond to it. You can either let it overwhelm you, or you can find shelter, wait it out, and emerge stronger. This is the power of self-control. It's the ability to remain calm in the face of adversity, to keep your mind clear even when your emotions are raging. The Stoics believed that self-control is not about denying your emotions, but about understanding them. When someone no longer values you, it's natural to feel hurt. But instead of letting that hurt dictate your actions, Stoicism encourages you to examine it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I've tied my self-worth to their approval? By understanding the root of your emotions, you can begin to detach from them. This is where the Stoic practice of prosoche, or mindfulness, comes into play. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. When you feel the sting of rejection, instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back. Observe your emotions as if you were an outsider looking in. This detachment allows you to respond with clarity and purpose, rather than being swept away by the tide of your feelings. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of apatheia, or freedom from destructive emotions. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means achieving a state of inner peace where your emotions no longer control you. When you master self-control, you achieve this state. You become like a rock in the middle of a raging river, unmoved by the chaos around you. So how do you cultivate self-control in your own life? Start small. The next time you feel hurt or angry, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is within my control here? By practicing this simple exercise, you'll begin to develop the self-control that the Stoics so highly valued. Number 3, the art of letting go. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism is the art of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing their indifference to dictate your happiness. It means you release the need for their approval and focus on what truly matters: your own growth, your own peace, and your own journey. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it's an act of strength. It's the recognition that you deserve more than someone who cannot see your worth. The Stoics believed that attachment is the root of suffering. When we attach our happiness to external things, people, possessions, or status, we give them power over us. But the moment we let go, we reclaim that power. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, put it simply: freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you let go of someone who no longer values you, you're not losing them, you're gaining your freedom. But how do you let go? It starts with acceptance. Accept that this person no longer values you. Accept that their actions are beyond your control. And most importantly, accept that their indifference says nothing about your worth. This acceptance isn't resignation, it's liberation. It's the first step toward reclaiming your peace. Next, practice gratitude. The Stoics believe that gratitude is the antidote to attachment. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, focus on what you still have. Reflect on the lessons this experience has taught you. Perhaps it's shown you the importance of self-respect, or maybe it's revealed your own resilience. By shifting your focus to gratitude, you transform pain into wisdom. Finally, redirect your energy. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring about relationships, it means you stop pouring your energy into those that no longer serve you. Use that energy to invest in yourself, your passions, your goals, and your growth. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By focusing on your own development, you rise above the situation and become a better version of yourself. Letting go is not a one-time event, it's a practice. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Each step you take away from what no longer serves you is a step toward your own freedom and peace. Number 4. The practice of amor fati. Stoicism introduces us to the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. When someone no longer values you, it's easy to see it as a misfortune. But the Stoics challenge us to see it differently. They encourage us to embrace every experience, even the painful ones, as an opportunity for growth. Nietzsche, who was deeply influenced by Stoicism, famously said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." This is the spirit of amor fati. When someone devalues you, it's not a curse, it's a gift. It's an opportunity to rediscover your strength, to rebuild your self-worth, and to realign with your purpose. Instead of resisting the pain, embrace it. Let it teach you. Let it transform you. The Stoics believe that everything happens for a reason. Even the most painful experiences have a purpose. They shape us, challenge us, and ultimately make us stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacles we face are not setbacks, they are opportunities. When someone no longer values you, it's an opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and your values. But how do you practice amor fati in your own life? Start by reframing your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in mindset can transform your experience. It allows you to see challenges not as punishments but as opportunities for growth. Next, practice acceptance. Accept that this experience, however painful, is part of your journey. Accept that you cannot change the past, but you can shape the future. And most importantly, accept that this experience is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter. Finally, take action. Use this experience as fuel to become the best version of yourself. Channel your energy into activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Surround yourself with people who value and appreciate you. And most importantly, remind yourself that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. The practice of amor fati is not about passive acceptance. It's about active transformation. It's about taking the pain of rejection and turning it into power. It's about recognizing that every experience, no matter how difficult, has the potential to make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So the next time someone no longer values you, don't resist it, embrace it. See it as an opportunity to practice amor fati. See it as a chance to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. Number 5. The cultivation of inner fortitude. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. When someone no longer values you, it's an invitation to cultivate inner fortitude. This is the ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity, to stand tall, even when the world tries to knock you down. The Stoic philosopher Zeno once said, "The goal of life is living in agreement with nature." And what is nature? It's the recognition that life is unpredictable, that people will come and go, and that the only constant is change. Inner fortitude is the ability to navigate this chaos with grace. It's the understanding that your worth is not tied to anyone else's perception of you. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are enough, just as you are. But how do you cultivate this inner fortitude? It starts with self-awareness. The Stoics believe that self-awareness is the foundation of all virtue. When you're aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, you can begin to master them. This is why Marcus Aurelius spent so much time reflecting on his own mind. In his meditations he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Next, practice resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's the understanding that setbacks are not permanent, they're temporary. When someone no longer values you, it's easy to feel defeated. But resilience reminds you that this is just a moment in time. It will pass, and you will emerge stronger. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of perspective. When you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, how will this look in a year? In 5 years? This exercise helps you see the bigger picture. It reminds you that the pain you're feeling now is just a small part of your journey. Finally, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to despair. When you focus on what you have rather than what you've lost, you shift your perspective. You realize that even in the face of rejection, there's still so much to be grateful for. This shift in mindset can transform your experience. It can turn pain into power and despair into hope. Inner fortitude is not something you're born with. It's something you cultivate. It's the result of daily practice, of choosing to rise above the chaos and act with dignity. It's the understanding that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by your own sense of purpose and virtue. So when someone no longer values you, don't let it break you, let it strengthen you. Cultivate your inner fortitude. Stand tall, and remember, you are enough, just as you are. Number 6, the practice of negative visualization. One of the most powerful tools in Stoicism is negative visualization, the practice of imagining the worst-case scenario to prepare yourself mentally. When someone no longer values you, it's easy to spiral into fear and anxiety. But negative visualization helps you confront these fears head-on. Seneca wrote, "He who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." By imagining the worst, being alone, rejected, or devalued, you strip these experiences of their power. You realize that even in the worst-case scenario, you will survive, you will endure, and you will thrive. This exercise isn't about pessimism, it's about preparation. Visualize life without the person who no longer values you. Feel the pain, the loneliness, the heartache. Then ask yourself, what is within my control? You cannot control their actions, but you can control your response. This mental rehearsal builds resilience and emotional strength. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. In his meditations, he wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall meet interference, ingratitude, and selfishness." By anticipating challenges, he faced them with calm and clarity. Negative visualization also cultivates gratitude. Imagining loss helps you appreciate what you still have. It reminds you that even in rejection, there is much to be grateful for. This shift in perspective transforms pain into power. Ultimately, this practice teaches detachment. When you imagine losing something, you realize your happiness doesn't depend on it. Your worth isn't tied to others' opinions. This detachment is the key to inner peace. So when someone no longer values you, don't avoid the pain. Confront it. Use negative visualization to prepare yourself. Imagine the worst, then remind yourself, you have the strength to endure it. Number 7, the pursuit of virtue. At the heart of Stoicism is the pursuit of virtue. The Stoics believed that the highest good is to live a life of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When someone no longer values you, it's an opportunity to realign with these virtues. Ask yourself, how can I respond with wisdom? How can I act with courage? How can I embody justice and temperance in this situation? By focusing on virtue, you shift your attention from what you've lost to what you can gain. You transform a moment of pain into a moment of growth. Wisdom teaches you to see the situation clearly. It reminds you that your worth is not tied to someone else's opinion. Courage gives you the strength to face the pain and move forward. Justice calls you to treat yourself and others with fairness, even in the face of rejection. And temperance helps you maintain balance, avoiding extremes of emotion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When someone devalues you, the Stoic response is not to retaliate or wallow in self-pity. It's to rise above the situation and act with virtue. This is how you reclaim your power. The pursuit of virtue is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself, even in the face of adversity. When you focus on virtue, you transform rejection into an opportunity for growth. You become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So when someone no longer values you, don't let it define you, let it refine you. Pursue virtue, act with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. And remember, your worth is not determined by their actions, but by your own. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.